Welcome to the Without Intent podcast. Our guest today is Ryan Quiring, a full-time musician and a part-time vegan IPA connoisseur. Check him out on YouTube at RyanLQ. Thanks for listening and enjoy with caution.
There's a difference in between going through something and saying that I'm going to do the best that I can do versus the look at me, I am the fucking best. You know, there's a two different thing that I can fucking see. We got to put like a soft top on this.
I'm drinking
All
the
good.
heaviest cup.
All
that you
good.
could probably find
No worries, all
anywhere in the
good.
entire
Okay,
world.
speaking of ego, why don't you talk about yourself?
Oh yeah, we got to throw those in there, I guess. A little bit of formality.
We just jumped right into it at the kitchen.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Hey, so I'm Ryan Quiring, and as far as my art story goes, I'm a musician. I've been playing instruments since I was 8, and kind of in bands here and there, just with friends and whatnot.
You're in like punk bands, right? That was kind of the origin of it, or
Yeah, started with like metal. So we did
Yeah.
some, like Motley Crue, the crew band, and it was funny. I was in high school and we were recruiting like all these college kids out of the city to come play a Motley Crue cover band.
Oh,
yeah.
adorable.
Scared the shit out of my mom and dad.
Oh yes. You've
I'm sure.
you've recently, so you're kind of now in this transitional period of working and doing music just solo versus with other people as well.
Yeah. So it's like I played in a band called Tickle Trunk shortly out of high school, and that was a lot of fun. Like really,
Yep.
just high school buddies, just getting together, super nostalgic every time we get back together again.
A
Play-
good
Yeah.
time.
and play the tune. Like it's just, or write new songs or whatever. But it just ended up not working out to continue jamming anymore. But I still wanted to create. I still had that drive, that urge, and I wasn't finding that I was getting a fix. Like I could play bass kind of by myself, but it's not the same as jamming.
I was jamming with other people.
As jam.
Yeah, or play guitar or piano, but it's just not the same as jamming. Like getting a
I think with music, like I don't have a whole lot of background in music, but I feel like it's a lot of feeding off of other people's energy and then trying to create something that's all just yourself is a lot more vulnerable, maybe.
It's a
It's
big
a little
step.
bit deeper,
It's
know?
a big step to go from doing something where you're not the only person responsible for pulling their weight to, oh, I'm going to pull all this weight myself because I want whatever that weight I'm pulling to be like just an expression of this one person rather than getting the views and the vibes of like 4 other people with you.
Yeah. Well, it's a completely different experience. Like that is part of it,
Yeah.
but it's also like when you're vibing. So I played in a threesome, me, Brad, and Tyler, and it was the 3 of us had similar enough upbringings, and our taste in music was similar enough that we could predict our response to stimuli. So we could, when we got excited, it was over the same things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which was interesting because that took like a slice of me, a slice of Brad, and a slice of Tyler to form like a single unit.
100%.
It wasn't all us
Mhm.
because there was things that I would do independently that they didn't enjoy. Like it was just the overlap, the Venn diagram of
Yeah.
our personalities was Tickle Trunk.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
super
super
fun.
neat. I
Yeah.
like that description.
And then, so what I'm doing now though is just so much more rewarding because it's I don't know how to word it.
I like that you said rewarding. It's so much more rewarding. Because, I mean, like, instead of you just investing wholeheartedly yourself to one piece of the puzzle, you now have to invest yourself wholeheartedly into multiple pieces of the puzzle,
Yep.
which I think is something that, when I look at a successful artist that I really feel some type of connection or draw to, it's somebody who understands all those layers of not only the art that you produce, but it's also a little bit of the marketing, the business aspect, and the et cetera. It's the same with music, is there's so many layers in that. And you have to now, instead of investing so much into one piece, it's all of these pieces that you get to see kind of come together and have a different sense of maybe like pride or ownership when all of those pieces are yours and no one else's.
It's an emotional onion. Yep.
Like that, yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And so I found like I'm really falling into like since we last talked,
Hmm.
I've made just leaps and bounds of
Okay, so when we last talked, you had released your Journey album on Spotify.
yeah.
And then, because me and Evan were vibing for a while off of the music, we're like, oh, this is going to be so cool.
I think
and then,
I told you that was for a while. That was my like background.
yeah,
podcast.
you're like, I'm
Yeah, 'cause I
Because I
literally
could just let it play for so
all the
long.
time.
So
all the
dope.
time. It was such
Yeah.
a vibe. And then I know when we had last chatted, you had kind of talked about a little bit of putting lyrics into some of that kind of songs. And earlier today, too, I was like saying to Evan, I was like, I haven't really chatted with Ryan a lot, but I wonder if he's at that like lyric stage of this Journey project that you're going on yet, or if there's still more fine tuning between those stages.
Yeah.
Where are you?
So I have all the setup for it. What I'm doing right now, just for timing and key changes and different things like that, is I'm trying with samples. So I'll have a sample library of voices, and then I'll layer those into the loops, and then I can add them and remove them based on when I'd like to hear them.
Yeah.
Kind of in real time as a
Kind
as
of
I'm
taking the
proposing.
sections of all the pieces you like,
Yeah,
putting
and so
that together.
I'm gonna evolve from that into more libraries of melodies that I can play in real time. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't have the
Mhm.
equipment yet for that.
Mhm.
What would you need for that you don't have? I'm
Just
curious.
I would need a 8x8 MIDI pad.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'd be like 48 buttons
Yeah.
in essence. Then I would have each button assigned to a specific aspect of the melody,
Oh, okay.
and then I would be able to switch back and forth.
Yeah. So you're just missing the ability to trigger them where you
Yeah.
want. Yeah.
in real time. I can trigger them on the computer, but it's not. I can't do that in real time as the song's going. It's
Yeah.
way too complex. But
Yeah, for sure.
After that, do you foresee like the next step that you're
Yeah.
going to
what
from there?
What I'm learning right now is I'm good. I have the melody lines, and I know how to layer them in and weave it in between the chord progressions and where the bass line's taking it. So I have that pretty well tuned now. I'm always able to grab a melody line and put it on the lead. That melody line will change into the melody line of the vocal.
Mm.
Where I'm wanting to get more confident is I write lots. Like I just like to write, and
Yeah.
so there's a lot of things I write about.
Are you going to be taking the
mostly
writings
books.
that you've already done and making them into songs, or are you
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
create a new lyric judging on
So-
the music?
What I need to do is create like a lyric sheet that I can just like go through so that I can trigger the phrase in my head
Yeah.
in real time as I'm thinking of the melody, because there's syllables that
Taking
matter,
segments
there's-
from all of
Yeah.
the writing and putting them kind
yeah,
of
just to
together a
keep
little
it,
bit.
like, top of mind,
Yep.
kind of like Matt or like just morning affirmations or something like that. Like you start your day off and you just say a few words, and it's not that you say it that matters, is that you hear it,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
and then you just get used to hearing it. So then you just programmed your brain in the morning to be aware of those things, and then you see it throughout the day.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how this works, is if I have a lyric sheet with the various phrases that I would like to sing about or speak about, in order to prompt them in like improvised, they need to be ready.
Yeah. So you're designing melodies and then adjusting when you get the lyrics for them then, hey? Yeah. That's what I always found worked. There's a long time in my younger days trying to like write lyrics and then write the melody
Yeah,
around
it's
that.
not
It doesn't
easy.
work. Everything that I've done now that's
It's-
worked out is writing it like on just like a synth or a keyboard.
Yeah, I need the melody before the lyric.
Yeah.
The melody should always take priority. You can't mess with it. It sounds fabricated. It sounds like
I think that's why I never
Altered.
could like write anything like really
Are most
sounding
are
concrete.
most musicians that way, where they do the sound first before the lyrics?
I'm realizing good ones do the melody first.
Yeah.
I think that's the key
Okay.
to it.
I
I
always
like-
start with the melody. Like the melody's in my head,
Hmm.
and I work backwards from that.
I've
That's
had
neat.
a couple of those. Both the two songs that I've put out, both of them were like just the hook or like the chorus melody that I sat on for like 9 months, didn't know
Yeah.
what to do with, and then one day it was like the thing was done in a weekend, and it was like,
Yeah,
oh,
sometimes you
okay.
just gotta end it,
Yeah.
release it.
I'm like, it's
and do
fine to
it.
just do these little things and then come back to them.
Yeah, I found that on my tune yesterday. it was an idea that I'd been working. I liked the main riff, but it just wasn't falling into place. It just wasn't quite there, and I didn't have to do. I record a few in advance and schedule them to be published on schedule, so that I keep the daily post going. But yeah, the sorry, where was I going?
Sorry, the dog just like thumped behind the fucking door really hard. I'm gonna shoo him away and grab another drink really quick.
Are you ready?
It got to a point where I could just sit there, like, just as it's rendering, like switching the cameras back and forth where I wanted. And then as soon as I did that, the video was done. It was so nice.
Oh, was that with your podcast?
Yeah.
You did really good with the video and the audio.
I spent so much fucking time trying to do the video really well.
That was so funny because, like, when I was tattooing your head, you like had mentioned your podcast, and I wasn't really big into podcasts at the time, and like I had mentioned it to Brent, who fucking devours podcasts all the fucking time, and he listened to it first. He's like, Evan's podcast is really good. Like it's pretty enjoyable. And then it was like a little bit until I started getting into podcasts, and then I listened to a few episodes. I'm like, this is pretty fucking good. And then your like the camera too was super cool. That's eventually down the road, possibly doing a camera.
Yeah.
I am not at a confident level of having a fucking camera on me yet in life. We are going to get there, but
I could do a camera right now.
Well, no,
with
we're
the
not
confidence
doing
that you have. I don't have the confidence in my computer. Because even back then, when it was a little bit newer, I could probably watch the video faster than it would render. And it was such a bitch to sit there, and I couldn't just grab the whole video file and render it all at once. I had to like do a little section so my computer didn't have an aneurysm. And
you
just
have to pre-render the
sections.
sections.
I would take it to work when I worked at the vape shop, and I would just like hit a thing, go watch the front for a little bit, come back, it was done, render a little bit more. It was so anal.
So much work, but you're trying to do that because you were so immersed in the experience. You want to see the final product, right? And so then you saw it, then you could make adjustments from there, right? But now it's like you're over that, like you personally are just over that, and
he's been broken in a little bit. He's had some trial and error, some learning. Now I'm like, okay,
has surpassed that baseline level of experience,
exactly.
Right? And it's like you're just
now I know I have the experience for it, but the only thing the confidence I lack is in the hardware.
That's what I really like is I'm like, I do not have the fucking attention span or I do not have the energy in myself to invest in understanding how to what equipment does and how to audio this shit and do all of that. I don't have that in me, and I like somebody else to have that in them because I don't have at all.
Yeah, that's why this is.
That sounds like a fucking nightmare to me, dude. I have to sit on a computer. I have to upload things. I have to fucking wait. I have to sit and I have to crop segments of it. Like I'm trying to do that with like my videos and stuff with tattooing, and that's my bare minimum attempt of like, I know basic, here, throw a video and a photo out there. Like eventually I'd like to get to a place where either I upgrade that or get somebody else to, which that camera that you lent me is super fucking dope. I have not figured out the settings yet on tattoos quite yet.
You'll get there.
It will get there a little bit.
You'll have to use a little bit of that brain that actually understands technology and just focus on
there's so much steam and smoke every time I try.
The nice thing about that is you just need to find like the one thing that works. And you're like, okay, I'm out.
100%. Like bare minimum over here.
This is not a lifelong journey.
No.
Yeah.
This is just getting me from point A to point B and helping along the way. I ain't making this a full-time fucking gig. Like, no, I ain't in it for photography at all. Let alone audio.
Well, yeah, that's why you need somebody to manage just that stuff for you.
Well, and learning how to delegate. Yeah, 100%. Because learning how to delegate and release like all that control that up until now in my life, I always thought that I have to do it all. And I'm like, no, that's not how fucking shit gets done. It takes a village. Like, it's not at all. And learning, like, to kind of, like, trust people with this part of the process, and kind of, like, all together coming together for the right reasons too, you know,
Yeah.
to have the right kind of personalities and people behind you to make something really cool happen, where I'm like, I can't do it on my own.
And
You know, like
having yourself spread too thin like that.
I'm
is
over
not good.
burnout.
Because
I'm over it.
you can find somebody where they just do that. That's their specialty, and then you don't have to worry. You can strengthen your.
I
other
will pay to
specialty.
not worry.
I was listening to a CIA spy talk about how the CIA classifies people, and this is in the context of like building a good team.
Mm.
Yeah,
All the roles.
Yeah, because they're a large organization, they have the opportunity and they have enough data on people to make the assessments necessary. But he said there's 4 animals that the CIA classifies every single person that they interact with. They classify them as one of these 4.
yeah.
What are the
A bear, a fox, a cheetah, and a lion.
Okay,
okay?
Okay.
I can see where they're going with this. Kind of, yeah.
So he said the bear is like somebody who's slow and steady. They will just continue executing all day long
Literally, bears
and be
execute
happy
people,
with
yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
like they will grind it out
Yeah,
until the job. They're tenacious, right?
they're
Like,
there for a slow grind.
yeah. They are not in like they know this is not a sprint, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fox is clever, like right, witty,
Quick,
puns,
quick with it.
solutioning.
Yeah.
They will quickly solution various like
Problems.
They're good problem solvers,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
But then they're done.
Oh,
Yeah.
the cheetah sprints to the fucking finish line really
Cheetah,
quick.
here's something and go
Mm-hmm.
fast.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
All the time.
And finding the fastest way to there.
Yeah.
They're the opposite of the bear.
And then
Yep.
lion, patient.
Yeah.
Mm.
And they say you need one of each to form the perfect team.
Oh, I love that. That's super.
What would
fucking
you be?
cool.
What do you think?
I'm a fox.
You're a fox?
Yeah.
You're that like really quick wit.
Yeah, I'm a problem solver. I solution things on the fly as I speak to people.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. That's why
What are
why I'm
you,
an
Ed?
entrepreneur.
What?
What are you?
I mean, I always thought I didn't have any patience, and I think if I can deal with like 3-month-old puppies holding scissors near their face, I think I have a bit of patience.
Yeah, I think you definitely have patience.
But
then.
I've also I definitely am that bear that can just grind.
just
it
keep
out.
grinding. Just head nose to the grindstone.
Yeah,
Just head
something
down.
hard happens, and you're
Next.
just like, well, we'll do it again tomorrow.
Yep.
I guess.
Yeah,
It's just gonna
the
keep coming.
grinding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Smash Mouth was right. The years really do just
Keep on
coming.
Yeah, and they don't stop coming.
I think, yeah. maybe a bear.
Yeah.
What
that's
would you be?
super cool. Fuck, I'd love to say a lion, but let's be real, I'm probably a cheetah. I
You're
don't
the
even
cheetah.
fucking second guess something. I'm like, oh fuck, yes, and just go. They're
Yeah.
so impulsive. Jesus, fuck. If I could just have 2 fucking brain cells to slow me down and have me question things a little bit more.
So you've got the drive of a cheetah, but you've got the brain of a golden retriever.
Oh yeah,
That's what it is.
Yeah, I'm stuck in between until we get the meds right. See, I feel like I've
You're
definitely.
off the charts
Yeah.
recently here.
I
Yeah.
feel like I definitely go back and forth a little bit more. Like I feel like I've grown to a little bit more impulsive, or that's just accumulated more in age, or maybe I'm more aware of it. But I definitely have that, like, I don't know, I see it as that spark, like wherever it's going, I gotta go there and I gotta get there like fucking now. And then I realize, like progress over perfection, slow down, do the baby steps. The little steps will get you there. You're still on that fucking path. But patience, I think, is my universal fucking lesson that the gods keep slapping me in the fucking face to learn. And I don't learn it. I don't.
It's funny. I was just talking yesterday about patience and how to me, I've been able to identify patience in I think the definition of patience is just understanding that things can happen and having the compassion necessary to understand why there's a delay or a change. Right? It's that really down to earth, we said we're gonna meet here at here and you're 15 minutes late, I can be patient because, okay, well, whatever. Life happens, right?
Yeah.
And then there's like, you can stretch that out over days. It could be, oh, well, this concert was moved from this date to this date. Be hard to be patient, but like, you can do it.
Yeah.
I think my brain goes to like the sunk cost fallacy, where eventually I start to go like, I've invested too much time being patient on this, that it is not worth being patient on anymore.
Your patience borders on procrastination.
All the time.
Yeah.
Procrastination's the best
that's
fucking
what
tool.
I was getting to. Is like, I almost find patience as a holding pattern. Right? Because, okay, well, I'm supposed to meet you here at this time. You're 15 minutes late. I'm not going anywhere else. So I'm not being effective with my time.
But you're not going to sit there for 2 days in the fucking park.
No, there's a limit, right? But it's like, even for that 15 minutes, that time could have been mine. I could have reclaimed that. But it's just not a boundary that I've set. But I just find it interesting with what patience really means. It's like, because there's a people-pleasing aspect to patience as well.
I saw a video yesterday and it was talking about aggressive patience. Is that, a lot of times people think that patience means if I keep putting in the time and the work, if I wait long enough, I will get there.
Yeah.
But aggressive patience is putting in the time and the work, is actually moving towards that goal, knowing that goal is out of reach and that it will come eventually, but I need to do so much work in between now and there. And every day is just chipping away at that goal, where it suddenly becomes aggressive patience. It's not just waiting around for it to happen. It's putting in so many steps in that journey of patience to get there, versus like a passive patience of just sitting around being like, well, if I just like am waiting to win $1 million, it will happen and I will get there and then be happy. No, that's not how it fucking works.
Yeah, that's a huge difference in personality. I've never thought of it as aggressive versus passive
100%.
patience before.
100%. I start to categorize people a little bit more on that. I'm like, are you just sitting there and just thinking like, if I keep trucking away doing what I'm doing, eventually it'll come? Or am I trucking away and then readjusting to obstacles and working through that path and that journey, it will come? There's two different things, You can't just keep producing shit work that's shit work and just say, okay, eventually I will get there and I will make it. No, you produce shit work. You adjust throughout that to try to make it a little less shit on the fucking journey, but at least you're doing something. It's an active form of patience. I don't know. That's been rattling around in my brain for the last days. Aggressive patience.
I definitely think there's a bit of a difference between long-term and short-term patience.
Big time.
I think I have zero long-term patience. Big goals, I'm just like, I want these now.
I'm all long-term patience.
The short-term patience, though, I think of being at work and having just one disagreeable dog, and I just gotta really.
You're more of a reactive patience, where it's more you're just reacting to being patient and being uncomfortable with being patient.
Or it's how we were talking about, I want to train Nova. I'm like, I have that patience to be like, I will do this all day. How long do you want to do? I will take however long.
See, I think you have long-term patience as opposed to short-term then, for sure.
I don't know, because I think of big goals that I want in the future, and I'm just like, I have no interest in waiting for those. I am like,
no, you have to. You have to.
I've got that aggressive patience towards long-term goals.
But you know what it is? It's that's almost a fear of the first step.
I think it's overwhelmed looking at something that is a hill and it sees a mountain.
Well, that's
because for me at this point, a lot of that's, and I'm not on the first step. I'm good 3 or 4 in. And I'm just like, okay, I am far enough in now that I see where I want this to go, as opposed to when I started and I was just like, this sounds fun. Now I'm like, okay, there is a real 20-year goal. And I'm like,
well, you're starting to see a mountain and you're realizing not only is there a road to the mountain, there are so many other hills and valleys I need to go before that fucking mountain. Then I got to climb up this fucking thing the second a blizzard fucking starts. And it becomes overwhelming when you see those far-term goals. I mean, you need to be seeing those far-term goals, But if you start to think about all of the steps that take you from here to there, it is so many different ways to feel overwhelmed. And that's everything in life. And that's what the aggressive patience is. It's putting in that time with the resources you have now, just knowing that that mountain is going to come. And every now and again, lifting your head and saying, oh, shit, I made a little bit of progress. Cool. Nose down, do it again, you know? And is that putting those steps in. It's just realizing that every day we're just doing the best that we fucking can. And it's that tomorrow I'll do better than I fucking did today. But that comes with letting go of that, like that feeling of, you know, you're not doing good enough. You're not taking that journey as quick as you should be because so-and-so already did it or whatever. It's just that you're working through what you can. As long as you see a fucking mountain, not a lot of people even see the fucking mountain. I don't think people get to the first fucking river or the valley, let alone a goddamn mountain over there.
I feel like I haven't seen a mountain. I feel like I drew a map of it and I'm just like, this is the mountain I'm looking for.
One day there's a mountain.
I wonder how much of the aggressive patience is like control.
All of it. I think all of it.
Right?
Because you have to be realistic when it comes to control. When to have it and when to let it go.
Well, but so I think aggressive patience versus passive patience, if like to use your terms, I think that's what that is.
100%.
The aggressive patience, you're trying to force something because you think it's what's best. It's what's best. Right?
You're in the shaping and the molding phase of it.
Yeah. And then you need to just accept that you will never know everything.
Yeah.
Ever. It is literally, there's not enough time on this universe to ever know everything. And when you accept that, then now the journey's fun.
Well, because you've gained freedom.
Yeah.
There's a certain freedom that comes with acceptance. When you see that there's a struggle in the path, you're no longer meeting that struggle with all of this resistance or this like, why me, or all of that. Once you just accept that the struggle is on your fucking path and hope that you have the mindset to see and overcome that struggle with the tools that you're dealt with at that moment, the next fucking road, the next hill is going to be probably twice as challenging as the first one, but now you have twice as many tools to overcome it too. That's why it becomes the mountain. It is not just that you're tackling a mountain. It's you're tackling the pebble. You're tackling the small hill. Like you're
jump into the mountain on a whim.
Oh, there's some people that try.
No, they crash and fail.
Yeah,
they crash and burn.
burn.
You see this all the time with success that comes so quickly and swiftly that they just slam into a wall.
Well, they never develop the tools to deal with it over a consistent time period.
Yes. Especially as it comes. That's why I like where I am. I have no idea what's coming to me on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I thrive in it.
I've got a rough idea of what the next week is going to look like. Yeah. Outside of that,
I literally avoid looking at my calendar because I constantly if I open up my Gmail right now, let's be honest, there is 980 some unanswered fucking emails. And I am booked wall to wall between today and September. You know what? I'm getting to September. September's a fucking mountain. The next mountain will be goddamn January. In between now and then, I am dealing with the fucking hurdles as they come. And it's exciting. Once you start to embrace that journey of it and that going with the flow of life and the challenges it gives you, there's a certain freedom. Yeah, I should be swamping myself more, but that's not going to benefit me. That's not going to benefit anyone. I'm going to take as much as I can chew and digest as it fucking comes. I know all of the things that I want to achieve in this life are fucking terrifying for me to actually sit down and look at, but they're going to come if you just take it one fucking step at a time. That's literally just it. And I want to see that for so many other fucking people too. I'm like, just the second you make those little steps, those one tiny little win, I get so fucking excited. And then you've got the friends who just make the backward steps and then fucking stumble down every little fucking
But no judgment, right?
No,
because they need the safest.
They have to do it.
No, even literally no judgment. It's because they can read our body language too. So when we know when we're being judged.
100%.
All the time.
100%.
Very pro judgment. I think you should.
We can use it. Yeah.
But it's so I'm working on this. Sorry to. I'm working on this project with the Mental Health Commission of Canada right
Fuck yeah, you are.
Neat.
You showed that shit out.
Fuck
Is
yes.
it something you can talk about or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're rolling out. So I'm working with the. I'm not sure if she's the director or the head of psychological health and safety in the workspace.
Is that for the
And
province or?
No, for federally.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And
Neat.
then, she's the co-author of the standard, the CSA standard for Z1003, which is the standard for psychological health and safety in the workspace.
Yeah.
And it's all about mental health
Yeah.
and like just really understanding people and where they're at.
Yeah.
You know, just generally.
That's so cool.
God,
And-
I wish that woman would take a fucking walk through my work.
Well, so they have, right? Because they like the things that they've written in there are very practical, very effective methods for. And the idea is if people don't have psychological health and safety, you never see them.
Yeah.
Mm.
You will see the mask they show you.
Mhm.
It doesn't promote safety. It doesn't promote a safe space. There's threats. There's like an unease and anxiety about it.
Yeah.
Right?
But
There's
that's
a
so many
tenseness.
factors.
Yes, you can
oh,
cut the
man.
tension with a knife, right?
Man, I have seen that tension cut at my salon so many times.
Yeah.
And it's insane because it's just such a like high anxiety place
Oh
for
yeah.
everybody that I think like I have a very clear image in my head of this one time a manager coming into the salon from the store and saying to this one girl like, hey, I just need you to like do this thing. And she just in the middle of it, she just goes, I am going to like fucking you start talking to me about this. And she's like, okay, and left. And I was just like, yeah, we are all right there.
Yeah.
It is such a thin line, and it's like,
Well, I think it's important for a workplace to realize when those tensions are on the fucking rise.
it is, but
You know?
I think
But you know how
I think working with
anti-productive
dogs,
it is?
Oh
it's-
yeah.
there's not much you can do.
No, not at all, other than
Yeah.
just accepting it and kind of
Well, but what you can do is provide psychologically health and safe environment.
support.
Yeah.
So, but it takes a little bit of a progressive mind at the management level to see that.
Yeah.
Right. So, what I'm hoping that this project is done. So, we want to roll out the pilot by September
Mm.
Yeah.
across
Mhm.
Canada. There's organizations lining up to go through this. It's going to be a gap analysis to start. But anyway, so they're going to see where they stack up
Yeah.
in their HR departments in terms of psychologically health
Mhm.
and safe environments and the supports that they provide to them. But what I want to see is that usually that's what it takes in order to standardize on something, right? The pilot is with the organizations that can afford it,
Yeah.
right? And that can make the biggest impact. They have thousands of staff. So you can kind of see, you get a good sample size
Yeah.
as to how effective this is. And then you can make alterations to get what I call product market fit.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, what does the market need? What's going to be the most effective? And then you can make those alterations and then you roll it out the next layer down.
So are businesses coming forward and saying we want to do this, or is the organization kind of being like, we want this business to try it?
Other way around. They're volunteering in because
The businesses,
the return on investment on productivity, because when you are in a tense work environment,
Mhm. Productivity is going to drop.
Yeah.
diminishes. So now you're
100%.
paying 8-hour salaries per day to people who are producing 1 hour of real effective work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe less.
Spending 6 more hours avoiding their coworker.
Yeah. Yeah, because they don't want to be, what are they doing?
Well,
What's
I
going
think
on? Right?
that's a really like complex thing to navigate, because when you have an employee, chances are a lot of the interactions you're going to see is that mask, like you were saying, is that face, is that I'm putting on my employee personality.
Yep.
But then there's a certain tipping point when you put so many personalities all together, you can't fucking fake it for too long until real personalities come out and start to bash heads and start to collide. So to have somebody else on the outside coming in and trying to work and problem solve between different personality types is such a complicated layer of.
But it's not someone else.
Mhm.
It's they don't have the tools.
So would the company be hiring somebody to
No.
come in and help, or the company is basically teaching the people running the business how to help then?
Not even that. So
Okay.
it is.
What are you doing? Fuck. Can you tell me what you're doing?
So it's a couple layers above the implementation level.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we're in the design phase of the
Not quite at that implementation yet.
right.
Okay.
We want to be there in September.
Okay.
I feel like it would be more beneficial to educate people who are owning and operating or managing a business on the proper tools, how to use effective communication and understanding the needs of different people and how to communicate and work
compassion
together.
and empathy training. Right?
Versus somebody else that the company hired to come in and talk to me about how we talk to Julia. And, I don't think that people who are, actually struggling with a lot of those workplace dynamics are ever going to respect or fucking listen to.
Yeah, you're building up to a draft one.
Yeah.
We're building up to a draft one.
Yeah.
We're gonna roll it out across, or a couple organizations that are massive have volunteered. They've opted in.
Yeah.
I think there's like 15 or something like that are huge.
Sweet.
Huge workforce.
Awesome.
And
You
this is
need a
just,
lot
like,
of
now,
hands in
right?
that.
Like,
Yeah, companies that we've all probably heard of.
Oh, yeah,
which
yeah,
we won't
yeah.
get into specifics about. But
No.
yeah.
No,
Which is
you
so-
need a
so,
ton
like,
of fucking
just
hands
think-
on that
think-
project, though.
Think about this for just a second. Like when it becomes when you get 2 times the productivity out of a worker by providing them a training course that costs $400, is it worth that investment?
I would say yes, but I
Yeah.
think a lot of people are going to say no.
No, but they're not going to be able to, because it's just going to be fact. It's going to be like no different than you have to report your taxes. Like,
It's like every workplace now you have to take a video on like safe lifting. Sort
yeah,
of thing.
but it's going to be
like
more
that.
effective than that video.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be really mental health preparedness training.
I think
Yeah.
that has to be a face-to-face, one-on-one
Yep.
training with somebody with the basics of psychology.
So we're currently writing the curriculum for that
Okay.
training as well.
Oh, yeah. Very, very baby steps.
Yeah.
That's so fucking cool.
So it's like it's going to be like train the trainer, in the sense that
Yeah.
like when I became mentally well, I was able to notice when other people weren't, and I could talk them through it.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Right.
mhm.
So this is like grassroots movement
That's super
implementation,
cool.
right?
That's super cool.
That is dope. I always think about when stuff like that is like genuinely good, like changes across the board are going to come to any workforce.
I
feel
think
like
it
we're at
has to.
I feel
Yeah.
like we're at a point
It
where
fucking has to.
nothing's really happened in that regard for a very long
No.
time.
No, we
It's
have
been
to.
a lot of
We're
like,
seeing numbers that an increase in productivity by starting the day off with a mindfulness meditation.
Yeah.
In construction, they are doubling their productivity levels on site, and they're safer,
yeah.
and they're more effective.
I
Well, I
don't think the
wonder-
mantra is the only thing to do with it. There's
I wonder
lot.
I wonder how this would be received by some people, because I definitely
Well, no, it's going to be met with resistance from
Absolutely.
a large majority of people, I think, for a certain amount of time before viewpoints begin to change.
Well, I
It's
think
been stigmatized, you know.
100%. Like,
I think not just that, but even the people that are really accepting of it. Like if somebody came into my workplace and was like, I know you just mentioned the one example of like a meditation. If somebody came into my workplace,
We
mhm.
Yeah.
laughed out of the room.
100%.
well, not me necessarily, but the people that
But
are
in
on
general.
the
But
floor,
majority
that are
of
making
people.
minimum wage, I can imagine them being like, "Hey, I don't need
Who
to
the
meditate.
fuck is this
I don't-
person telling me to think life is beautiful?
Yeah, meditating is not going to help those people. Like, they're choosing between rent and food at this point. They don't want to meditate.
But the funny thing is that it would help them the most.
But I think that
Because
the only
that's-
way to actually affect those types of people who need that and need that as an outlet is to influence your environment or on more of a micro scale as
No,
far as the
It's the
macro.
culture. So this is where psychological health and safety comes in. It's about everybody is doing it. Nobody's not doing it. If you don't do it, you leave. Like that's
That's going to be more resistance.
but it will. But then people are going to find out that you can't bend at the threat of that not being true.
Well, then I think you're making people feel cornered because
No.
when the second that a person does not want to change, they do not want to better themselves or their fucking work environment, they're going to fucking leave. And then they're going to feel boxed in because they can't go anywhere unless they accept this doctrine. And then they're going to feel like they're being shoved it down their throat in every workplace and job that they apply for. So you're going to be met with a lot of resilience. And I think you'll dwindle it down throughout the tiers of people searching for jobs.
No, I don't think it's any different though than people who want to take shortcuts in construction and avoid safety. I would not hire them. They are fired.
100%. Okay.
Like you can't. This is just policy. Like and this is what's best.
If you can't get on board with this, then it is a hazard to everyone else.
We need your mental safety as well.
Here's one hiccup that I see in that, in getting, and I know it would be like a policy to get on board with that, but the one hiccup I see is, I think about these big businesses. I think about all the retail places that I've
the way
worked
they
in my life.
Communicate.
And I think about the fact that it wouldn't matter much to me if I was more productive. The company is making more money because I'm more productive. None of that's coming back to me. These big retail chains are not going to see the productivity.
I think once you have a certain amount of employees, you should have a psychologist on hand, on staff.
But here's like some of the other...
but for the sake of being productive...
Well, but here's some of the balance to that. Is now it's Monday through Thursday work week.
Okay, that's where we start.
Okay, all right now. How many people are like,
you start getting the time and the money into it, that makes more sense.
I get more time off if I'm more productive when I'm at work because I'm more mentally stable and sane and happier.
Right?
Fucking give me the day off. Oh, okay.
So
there's the incentive.
There's definitely a difference between telling one of your employees, hey, you're going to be a lot happier at work if you meditate
start
in the morning.
With a morning prayer, you know?
But if you say, hey, if you're more productive, you're going to make more money. That'll get fucking butts.
Or you're going to have more money, more time off. You're going to...
No, they'll call bullshit on that, right? It might work for some. And so the whole point of rolling out a product is it's not going to work for everyone in the first stab. It's like
it's going to take time,
right? Like we're talking about a population of human beings in Canada, right? That's the demographic. Not every one of them goes to work, right? So we're hitting just like this real needle in a haystack of which firms can make an impact and what humans in those firms can make an impact, right? In order to raise the mental well-being.
Well, I think you're going to start with larger corporations because they handle with more employees.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to be met with more employees who are just taking this as a 9-to-5 because they're fucking struggling and they don't want to be there. So you're going to be met with the most amount of resistance in the first few drafting stages of this plan, for sure.
With they're the people who could use it the most.
Yeah, 100%.
Are the ones who will resist it the most.
Oh,
right?
Fucking yep.
And it's unfortunate, but it's true. And so we're entering this knowing that.
Yeah.
Right? Like
which is very admirable, knowing that that's exactly how it's going to be met.
So do you think that what do you think would have more of an impact on how happy an employee is and how productive they are because of that? Would it be making the environment at work better for them, or would it more so be making things outside of work? Because I know for myself, now that I'm making a little bit more money doing the same thing that I was, I'm way more happy with my work. I'm way more productive. If it's
because your life outside of work is happier.
It's easier. Yeah. It's like they say money can't buy happiness, but
money can provides a living.
It allows us to side quest. That's honestly how I see everything, is that once your job can pay your bills and give you that type of security, you can start flourishing in other aspects of your life, whether that is health is an investment, if it's your body, if it, health is that investment, or if it's, other hobbies or the relationships that you're going into in your life. When you're more complete of a person, when your cup is full, then you can be better in every other aspect of your life. And I think that work and the 9-to-5, Monday to Friday, fucking kills souls. It kills people. I have fucking watched it. It's just when you're grinding too much without anything getting back to you.
That's the thing of it, though. That grind, I think a lot of people can put up with when there's a reward to it.
That's the reward. If you're getting money.
So here's a hypothetical. You work a 9-to-5 or an 8-to-4, and you make $250,000 a year. Now, all of a sudden, yeah, okay.
Life is good.
You can travel any weekend you want. You can, nothing that you really like that's out of your reach.
100%.
Right? So this is like, it's not as bad. It's when you're grinding it and you can barely afford to live.
When you're choosing between rent and food.
Yeah.
No,
doesn't
that's
really matter.
unacceptable.
Yeah.
It's
That
just
is not-
unacceptable.
Well,
100%.
that's a lot of the people that I am around have been around. And that's
Yeah.
why I'm like, I get that improving mental health in the workplace is going to be beneficial. But like, if the company is not then,
Well, it's
benefiting
like the
people
chicken and the
outside.
egg situation, because if you're not happy and you're going to resist those real changes with that same kind of unhappiness that brought you there, and that's why you're going to be resisting that so much, is
Yeah.
because like, I don't want to invest anything in myself, because what did that do to invest me? And then now you're met with that kind of like that attitude of, I'm the byproduct of my circumstances and my life. And then why should I try, or why should I?
So
It
this is
starts
where I
to
think-
loop into that kind of
This
thinking.
is where I think they need this the most, because you can't problem solve when you're in that mindset. You
No.
can't, the creative thinking stops almost, right? Because you're just,
100%. You're focusing on your
Oh.
basic needs.
yeah. And so that's why I say they need this the most, because they need to be able to think and problem solve, because then they can get themselves out of whatever problem happens to be or challenges in front of them. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, they can think more past the basic needs and into growth.
yeah.
And once people can stop worrying about their basic needs, they can start to thrive. They can start to spread their wings. They can do, their side quest missions or whatever else. You can start actually having a productive employee. But then I think
even if you don't want to do the side quest, because there's people like that. I harpened this back to my mom, who did the same job for multiple different companies that all paid like shit, and she was basically choosing between rent and food. And then one day she just found a company where she does the exact same thing for good money.
Yeah.
And she's still not the kind of person that wants to do the side quest, but she's way happy.
well, I think the
You know what I mean?
happiness
Not
is the side
struggling.
quest.
Yeah,
I
she's
think
not-
that
yeah, she's
happiness is that side
not,
quest.
she's
100%.
She's still struggling and putting energy into the same job, but the bills are paid outside of that. So there's not that much energy required. It's requiring less energy from people outside of their workplace that probably makes the biggest difference. Because it takes energy to stress about all the credit cards are piling up and we're out of ground beef and I don't know if I can get more until next week. That takes a lot of energy. To stress
100%.
about that shit.
100%. That
That's
takes
called
the
what's
majority.
mental load.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
That's
And
just-
when you
it
walk
wears on
around
you.
every single day with the weight of the world on your shoulders, which is exactly that, if you're going every day thinking about when your next meal is and how to feed mouths, that weighs on your shoulders, on your body, and it starts to attract all of that low vibrational thinking is the
Yeah.
way that it's a circle. And trying to take someone who is stuck in that circle, whether they were born into it or they ended up making the wrong choices in life and they've become there, taking that person out of that requires so many things on the journey. It not only requires them to hit rock bottom and want fucking change, it takes them realizing they need change and reaching out to ask for help and then following through on that help and continue to take the steps on that fucking journey. But I mean, I think reaching somebody who's at that level of not knowing how to get help is almost impossible until they've hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
That's just it. Is the second that you hit some type of turning point in your life where you say, I need to fucking change or else I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to be around here. I'm not going to be able to X, Y, and Z. Unfortunately, is a road you just have to watch other fucking people tumble down. And
Yeah.
just, it is what it is. Eventually, they are going to have to fucking wake up. Like, that's just it. It's either that or the fucking grave. Like,
Yeah.
And you know how, like, that's what I call just the discomfort.
mhm.
You need to be so discomfortable that you're willing to move.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can deal with a little bit of discomfort. on
Yeah,
a daily
we deal
basis.
with a lot of discomfort on
I
a daily
think lots of
basis.
people don't want discomfort. I think a
No.
lot of people don't want to feel uncomfortable in their emotions or their thoughts or their actions or whatever else. It's so much easier to put your head down and just say, all right, I'm comfortable just getting through the day.
dissociation.
100%. You're disconnecting from yourself, your body, and your will entirely.
Exactly. So that's why I test all the things that I do against the value system. Remember we mentioned this last time, where in the moments where you are feeling lower than normal, or like just when things are just dragging on, like for me, what I do is or even when I'm having a great time, I just come back to it now. It's just so subconscious, but I test all the things that I do against am I having fun? Am I being authentic? And am I growing? And everything I do needs to meet the majority of the criteria.
I've absolutely loved that analogy, and I've like come back to that a few times. I was on the phone yesterday with a shaman for fucking 2 hours, and she told me like a really interesting tripod that she kind of goes by, and it's if you're learning, you're healing, and you're teaching. That is something that's worth pursuing or doing. And I really liked that, like both of those trifectas or something that I was like, that's super, I love that. That's super fucking cool.
I think, thinking about what I do and the way I do things, I definitely realize that I'm missing some of that teaching. I think that's what makes a puppy really rewarding, is because no matter how slow I take it with like an adult dog, they're kind of set in their ways. And if they want to be a little asshole about it, they're going to be. Whereas a puppy, you can kind of teach them, like, and so I only get those little moments of that, but I kind of realize now why I like them. Because that's kind of
they're
missing.
fun.
Well, that's kind
There's
of
potential.
when you can talk to somebody and be excited because you know the thing you're talking about because you're teaching it.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's actually being
God,
consumed though too, because there's so many times I'll like have conversations with people and I could see it fucking pinging off of their forehead, like not registering at all, and I'm like, oh, okay, like bruiser, fucking like just dense. I have friends who are like that, and I'm like, God,
I'm like that.
Fucking damn it! Listen to me, please.
Start talking to me about anime. You will see all the life drain out of my eyes.
Doesn't matter how long
you go.
I start to black out when something's disinteresting to me. I don't know, but like once you like talk about that thing that just lights you up, you're like, fuck yes. And then when you're talking to somebody else who's very receptive of that energy and then like feeds off of it, that's where I feel like I draw inspiration from. And I've started to realize in my life, like I've definitely had an accumulation of a lot of friends. Accumulation of a lot of people of the same kind of like energy and the same kind of like, it's such a contagious feeling. And I think it's very easy to fall into the contagious, woe is me, life is hard, I hate this, I deserve this, blah. And it's just as contagious to surround yourself around people who want actual change for themselves and genuinely for other people. I don't meet that challenge with anyone else. If you're doing well, I'm fucking happy for you because your success never threatens me on my side of the fence, you know? And I feel like that energy is just as fucking contagious. It just takes a little bit more effort from people to get into the rhythm of that.
What's it called? A high tide raises all boats.
Rising tide.
Yeah. Like 100%. Like I think it's very mindless of us to succumb to that. And I see it in my life, and the best ways I can word it is just a lower vibrational frequency. Yeah. It's very easy because it's autopilot. I put on my shoes, I go to my 9 to 5, I come home. All I want to do is just go into the rhythm and the pattern, the routine and structure and monotony. And I mean, like, structure does wonders for my fucking mental health. 100%. I will acknowledge it wherever it is due. But being able to also, you know, tackle those ups and downs and those challenges with other people who are also invested in that, I guess, like aggressive patience and that building towards bigger goals, I think is something that is absolutely beautiful that we need to surround ourselves. And I've recently started to emotionally kind of detach from other people and things in my life that is no longer serving me, and learning where to detach from things that aren't helping me when I can help it. You know, it needs to build something. We need to have a back and forth. We can't be a one-sided fucking fence.
I think that's coming up for both of us. Because how old are you?
40.
40? Okay, so you're probably not in the beginner stages of this like we are, but that like
I think around
you start doing more emotional and like mental spring clean.
I
where
think
you
you
really
start to
find what
value your
you-
energy. There's a certain point in
Yeah.
your life where you really start to value your energy because you understand that that is what we're here for. And that is all. Like, if I can generate and give energy, as long as I am getting it in return, it's going to be a nice steady flow. But it no longer serves me to waste my energy in the places where I can't get something back
Yeah.
from. You start to value your energy and how you spend your time and
Yeah.
who you surround
Well,
yourself
maybe
with.
The
you
closest parallel that I've been able to draw is like when you first start drinking, right?
Yeah.
Like
Mm.
you're
Mhm.
doe-eyed, right?
Mhm.
You're just you kind of
Nice and
you try
warm and
whatever,
glowy.
and it tastes good, and it's like you love it, and you
Sipping
think
my
you're cool, and
Truly.
You're
And you
like, oh,
get
this is fun. I've never done karaoke.
obliterated.
Yeah.
yeah, and you get like
Fuck
you know
yeah.
for the first few years you're smashed
Yeah.
out of your face, right? And then yeah, like, you
Yep,
know, but
100%.
there comes a time when you're just like, you know what? I'll have 2-3 beer max, right? Because I know I don't want to deal with a hangover tomorrow.
100%.
I don't want to get totally lost and
Yeah.
not remember
How
what
long
was happening.
how
Like, we
long it
just-
takes for you to start to feel normal again too.
Yeah.
And that's where
Yeah.
I started bullet journaling. This is so nerdy. So I have date logs and color coded on all of my moods in a journal for the past 2.5 years of exactly what mood I was at every day.
You got a
And
sticker journal.
It's so funny. At the end of the month, I like draw it all out for the month and what I want to track, but it's always mood. And I started noticing that my mood depletion would be very low after a binge, like after having a lot of alcohol, having a good ass fucking time, but how much of my energy it was taking to get myself back up to normal and feeling like myself. There was that sunk cost fallacy. I'm like, this is not worth it. Yeah, there's going to be times that are worth it, but this is not worth it to do every weekend if I have 3 days of trying to get myself back up there. And then I started to kind of like cut down on the drinking. And then I started to, that's where I got onto my path of medication and everything else on top of that, whereas I just felt like I needed a fucking change. I remember there was at least 3 fucking hangovers that like accumulated into that fucking,
And you were
I
just
need
like,
to, what the
wow,
fuck?
isn't that
Like,
right?
I'm hurting bad. Why am I doing this? This is self-harm.
I remember
what the
when
fuck?
my first one was the first time I like really blacked out. That's when I was like, oh, okay, so not only did I not have fun because I don't remember it, but now I've got these 3 days to get back to normal.
Oh my God. I never really blacked out too much. I have like only like really 2 nights in my life of blacking out, and I'm fucking glad because that's a scary feeling. I can't imagine living your life as on a regular basis,
Oh,
you know,
no.
or
Yeah.
being raised around that as a normal. That changes your perception of the world and what normal is and what healthy is and what that entire what your world is. It changes your fucking worldview when
Well,
you're
that's your example,
around
right?
that.
Yep.
100%.
But I don't ever black out, but I don't have an off switch. And so I will just go and go and go and go until I'm the last one
Yeah.
left, and then
feel
I'll
that.
go home.
That's how I
Mm.
play Monopoly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's my
No.
competitive nature. I don't know what it is, but
I don't know. I have, maybe it's FOMO. Just I want to stay to the end of the night because I
It
want to
could
see.
be.
Well, I don't want to miss
but
out.
I find like the biggest part of my recovery is like sleep.
Mm,
I just
mhm.
lost an entire night's sleep,
Yeah.
and now
Nothing is worse when the birds are fucking chirping and you're still awake, and I'm like, oh,
and I
I've
spent-
made
I
fucking
spent the whole day
mistakes.
inside because I drank
Yeah.
too much, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh my god, what a waste of it's like you start to see to that length. But that's anyway. That's kind of like the analogy that I can draw, the parallel that I can draw to like when you become more aware of what energizes you versus what depletes your energy, and you run out of spare energy because your ignorance is being polished off.
Maybe you can speak to this, but I feel like that's a common thing that I hear from people that are like coming up and going to 30 is that seems to be where people get really hyper aware of that kind of stuff.
100%.
'Cause I definitely feel like I am.
Well, there's like second puberty that a lot of people go through. I think it's very prevalent in women. Fucking don't quote me. I think it's in your late 20s to early 30s as we
Yeah.
actually like go through a mental second puberty. And for me, like Brent always jokes about like 27 was a weird one for you, hey? Because he got to see the weird little like, hello, darkness, my old friend. Like I was just kind of like, I have 3 years until I figured mentally I should be an adult. And that was where I started like doing like more of the mood journals and starting to kind of like focus on making some changes in my life, is because I kind of like, I don't know why I thought like 30 is going to be an adult. I should have my shit together. And now I was so fucking excited to turn 30. I keep saying, I think 30s and 40s are going to be the fucking shit. You know what? Even 50s. 50s are good. 60s, I'll get some sweaty palms and start going like, whew, fucking getting up there. But like, I feel like there's like something in your brain that definitely has, at least from my experience, that like later 20s, early 30s, I start to go, all right, that mountain is there. I really want to recognize it.
I think life starts at 30.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, 20s are bullshit.
They say you
Holy
gain consciousness at 3 years old. I think you do it right about 29.
Oh my God.
Hear this out, right? Like, I think of all of that as kind of like, what was I gonna say? The training period, right? Like when you're 19, 30 is so far away that it's like once you're 30-year-old, right? Like there is it's almost an exponential curve, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the first 29 years of your life, you're on kind of this relatively flattened, and it just starts an inflection point at 29.
Yeah.
30 hits and you skyrocket through life because now you're old.
Yeah.
But and this is just from your
Hey now.
I'm just like saying like I'm just trying
he's right.
to empathize with
I
like
accept it.
where I was at when I was 18.
I'm not
Yeah.
fighting it. I'm not fucking fighting it.
And so for me, I didn't plan or have any expectation for what my 30s was supposed to be.
Oh, I'm totally going into my 30s with so many fucking goals that scare me shitless. I'm like so fucking excited for 30s. 40s, I'll have a midlife.
I don't have much goals for my 30s, but I definitely am just like, as things pop up, my 30s is going to be the age where I do things. You know what I mean?
You're seeing the doors open
Yeah.
and you're actually
Yeah.
walking through them.
Recognizing more of the stuff that I do like to do, and just being like, hey, we're going to do that, rather than I don't.
But
want
you're
to.
kind of speaking from the point at the inflection point.
Yeah.
Like that's where your experience is
I'm
from.
literally 29.
When
yeah.
you were
Yeah.
right? So when you're 19, that's not on your mind,
No, God, no.
right?
Dick, that's it.
No plan. Right? So it's like you're at this inflection point, so you started to think about
Yep.
this stuff because you're gonna rocket launch
Yep.
somewhere, right? And
So
so
excited.
you're busy, and it's because you're starting to pay attention and become aware, right?
Yeah.
So I think the like midlife crises happens because people have to reconcile with the fact that they thought they were going to get a career and a job, work until they retire, and then go enjoy life. Right? And that isn't exactly how things have happened.
Well, you're putting a stipulation on happiness, though, too, which
But
is just a recipe
it's
for misery,
perceived.
too.
It's perceived happiness. It's not even real. It's like, it's fake.
Well, happiness is such a weird thing because we put so much like, I will be happy when I'm this size. I will be happy when I get that career or that paycheck. I will be happy when this, that,
But when
or the
you're-
other thing.
But when
Yeah.
you're 12, what else do you know? Like,
You're not thinking about what's going to make you happy.
No.
Like, I'm
No,
happy.
Yeah,
Shit's
you kind of
fine.
go,
See-
you
yeah.
go
See
back
grandma and
to that,
grandpa,
like, you
they're
get back
happy.
to that, like, infantile
They're
stage, the
joking around.
older that you are,
Yeah,
you
you
know,
don't
you
have to-
kind of go back to just being happy.
Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to like future plan. You're just like, craft dinner's here. Fucking Pokemon's on. Like,
and you know why?
What else do
You have no
Tea is
control.
made.
yeah,
But anyway, I think though, because at like 18, 19, like 30 is just so far, like you don't even have it in your mind. You don't even have an image of what that might look like.
No, it's not even on
And
the
then
fucking
it
radar.
hits you at 28, 29. Because now you got to start thinking about it.
Yeah.
And you've never had to really before. Like really. Never like permanently dug itself into your brain.
It's a darkness for a lot of people to kind of go and retreat back into themselves, you know? Like it's that make it or break it. You can either just like not do anything about it or start to have to fucking work towards some things. And like it's a hard reality for a lot of people to digest or to consume, but Change
gonna-
has to be
you're gonna
made, or
feel
else it's
that-
going to be the exact same.
You're gonna feel that uncomfort, right? And your skin's gonna be crawling. You're not gonna be able to go on.
You have to adjust.
Yeah.
Like,
You need to change
path.
course.
Yeah,
like-
change course, change path, adapt, and then keep on fucking trucking. That's exactly what it is. So I hate when people fucking try to present this image like everything is right in life and okay in life and like all of this. Like that was a huge thing that I think started with this podcast too, is like I was posting all these pictures of tattoos and I'm like, thanks so and so, really happy with this piece, over the moon, like this looks awesome, oh my god. And I was like, this isn't me. I don't know how to be authentic to myself as an artist.
You needed an outlet to come on here and be like, hey, fuck you, Becky.
Yeah. Well,
Hate
okay,
it.
what's worse is I tried to start this as a fucking TikTok video shit and I was mortified.
You
Ho-
couldn't.
No, I have surpassed the fucking age range. I
Yeah.
am the second I turn on a camera, I'm like, "Hey guys, oh, what the fuck?" Like
Yeah,
right away,
you-
I'm like, "This is not me."
You
Like
would
I
be
have
a
to.
baddie girl.
Holy shit! No, like it ain't fucking happening. And I was like, "Okay, I have to be realistic about who I am, where my strengths and where my weaknesses are,
Yeah.
and where that next approach into kind of putting a bit of more of myself out there." But realistically, you know, you
This
just,
is a lot more age appropriate too.
I think
Like
so.
doing
I need
dances
to.
on TikTok.
Oh
so
my
that's the younger
god!
generation.
Yeah,
We talk.
no, it's
Our
it's
age
not.
of people, we talk.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? It is true. I'd much rather sit at a fucking bar than going out like at a club or something. I just want to sit and have good
Same.
fucking conversations.
Yeah.
Like that's really all it fucking is.
I'm a level past that now where I'm like, I don't even want to go to the bar.
Oh,
We can have these
yeah.
conversations at
We
home.
just
But
talk-
you want to come to my place? I'm
I can set the vibe at my place.
Yeah.
right.
But that's a good place to end it. This is the longest one we ever did.
Yeah. No, I'm.
This is
I'm
double
pumped.
every other one.
I literally had like no intention going into this. Can we? I like to end on a note of just saying what kind of project you've recently done that you're proud of.
Yeah, I would say, well, I'm doing this improv music every day, and the last couple that I've done, I've really taken like a different tone, a different vibe. Really cool, like mixing in like jazz and EDM. It's interesting. I'm quite enjoying kind of those vibes that I'm finding.
Very different genres
Yeah,
to
you
try
took
to
a-
mash.
you took You took a bit of a swing and it paid off, and now you're like,
Well, I'm enjoying the creative freedom of not labeling. What I've done was I've gone through the library and chose the sounds in the libraries that I like. And now I just create music with those libraries. And it's like, it's turning out to be what I can do with them is
You're seeing
pretty
potential.
sick, and it's so
Getting
vastly
excited.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so now it's like I'm seeing this trajectory. You know, when we were talking earlier at the table about like this 1 year to 3 year
Ah, yes.
trajectory in art or whatever, you have to be
Learning
doing the learning aspect of
Process.
it's always you can look back and be fond of it, but it's always like you just know, oh, I was learning. I didn't know all this stuff yet. And then when you get past that, it's just like the difference is so stark. That so I feel like I'm on that journey right now. And I'm so
Things are
excited
starting to
for
make
what the
sense.
future's gonna bring.
I'm
Yeah.
excited for whatever the fuck this is gonna be. We're gonna release this like in the next month.
sometime.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fucking. Yeah.
Good time though. You're a
Good
good
one.
time.
Yeah.
I
Appreciate
Always,
you
always,
coming.
any fucking
Yeah.
time. Legit.
Yeah, where can people find you to end this?
Hit YouTube, search up Ryan, all one word, music.
Okay, dope. Yeah, we'll
Cool.
put it somewhere, a clickable link near wherever this is happening.
We will figure that out.
It's been fun though.
He will figure that out.
You should do yourself a favor and just search that right now. Ryan, one word, music.
Very easy.
Hey Google,
Yeah.
search Ryan on
Are we
YouTube.
loud enough?
Hey, go. Okay, cool. Peace.
Okay,
Bye.
Satan's foreskin on
Cheers.
Instagram.
Yeah, most tattoos.
Boy.